All right. What's good, everybody? What's good, everybody? Welcome to Maurice Dell channel. Welcome to my channel and welcome. And y'all already know me. I'm the rawest conservative on YouTube. Nothing holding back on here. And I got a special guest. He's gonna be with us momentarily, but we will be live. We are live right now on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, Twitter at the same time. So everybody, we're gonna listen and we're gonna have a conversation. And this has been the topic right now. Not the topic, this has been the talk right now about. You see the title? It says Coca-Cola presents "Try to Be Less White." It's like that's going around, and like even white disagree with that. Black, it's like, come on. Sometimes people take it too far. You know what I'm saying? So I got a special guest on here. He's been on here before. His name is Evan. I call him Ev. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna bring him out right here.
Hey guys, I would like to state for the record that I am not affiliated with Coke and I do not endorse their products. I'm on my fourth Diet Pepsi of the day, so I got no dog in this fight. Other than I like when I see something like this, I like to do the research. I like to see where the story's coming from. I like to get the facts as best I can, and then I try to make a reasoned decision based on what I know about people and companies and that kind of thing.
Exactly. And we talked about this, man, and I saw this. It's like,
well, you brought this to my attention. And you said that this was a thing, and you had an issue with it.
Mm-hmm.
So does everybody know what we're talking about, just in terms of like what this issue is?
Yes.
Okay. So I did some digging, and all the reporting I found was from a particular point of view. And the person who seems to have gotten the ball rolling on this story, I didn't quite catch her name, but what she is she's a columnist. She's an activist who likes this issue. She pushes this kind of an issue.
Okay.
And she is successful in she makes more money if she gets an issue like this, and she discusses it. Now, I don't know about you, right? But if I've got an issue and if I've got a story, right, and I tell it one way and I get $5, and I tell it another way and I get $10, mm-hmm. I'm damn straight telling the $10 story, right? Most people are going to do that, right? They're going to pitch a story. They're going to pitch an issue in a way that gets them the most views, that gets them the most money, that gets them, they have an axe to, if they make more money presenting a particular point of view, that's the point of view they're going to present. And I think we can all agree that that's how people are, right?
Yeah.
So when you look at this story and you look at the facts, and these are all facts that are published, they're in the articles, okay? I'm not talking about like I had to go out on the internet and go find other articles and other takes on this and what Coke was saying. This is all in the articles, all of which kind of cite each other, right? And what the story basically, when you boil down the facts, when you get the facts, is Coke is doing diversity training or some kind of HR training, and they're using LinkedIn to do it. And so they're kind of saying to people, hey, go out onto LinkedIn, find something to study about diversity or HR stuff, and we'll pay you to do it, right? Yeah. And so people went out and they found this presentation. Now, there's this presentation on LinkedIn, and it's about being less white, right?
Okay.
And I think Maurice and I, you and I discussed this, and we can agree that this is a horseshit presentation presenting a horseshit point of view in a horseshit manner, right? We can all agree on that.
Yeah.
This is a waste of everybody's time. It makes people saying it look stupid, and it's rude. Okay, at best it's rude. That's the best thing you can say.
It is.
I don't have a lot of sympathy with white people talking about how they're oppressed.
Right. Okay.
We can get to that at a later point about why I don't think that. But I in any case, it seems to be at best rude. It's rude all over. It's condescending to the people who might want to study it. I think it's a simplistic view. Blah 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 blah. But somebody has spent some time and energy putting it together. Okay, it's stupid, but people have done stupid things before. So when you look at this, but it wasn't Coke. There is zero chance Coca-Cola put this together.
Right. So who was it? Was it the CEO?
No, it's just somebody who put out a presentation on LinkedIn. I think they tracked it down to somebody, and she's the exact opposite of the conservative person who objected to it. She's another person who makes their money taking a very leftist stance when it comes to race, and they put this presentation together. So what Coke essentially did was imagine the analogy I'm using is my kid. Say a teacher turns to my kid, right, and says, I want you to do a project on world religions. So go to the library and I will give you class time. During class time, you go to the library, you check out a book on a religion and its treatment in history, and study it, and we'll talk about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she goes off to do this assignment. She goes off to the library with her library card on class time, and she brings back Mein Kampf by Adolf Hitler, right? Talking about the Jews. And she takes it home and she brings it up to me and says, look, my teacher told me to go get Mein Kampf. Well, no, the fucking teacher didn't, right? What the teacher did was say, go to the library, get a book about Jews. Not even get a book about Jews. Just go to the library, get a book about religion. So what the problem is that she didn't specifically say, the teacher did. So the teacher gave her class time and she went and got a book about Nazis, right?
Okay.
So did she spend class time studying the Nazis? Yes, she did, right? Did the teacher allow her to do that? Yes, she did, right? But the teacher didn't make her study Nazis, right? So what Coke did is, in an incredibly lazy maneuver, probably also because of the pandemic and not getting people in a room and not having people watch a presentation in a room together, they let them study it on their own, and somebody found this incredibly ridiculous presentation about, white people aren't good. You shouldn't try to be white people. And so Coke may have paid people to take that presentation. That wasn't their intent, right? That wasn't what they did. I personally don't think Coke paid anybody to take this presentation. I don't think,
but they allowed that, but they have not called it out though.
No, they're not. They can't. See, this is the problem: is that they can't. Because just like the teacher can't say to my kid, "Wait a sec, I didn't mean for you to get." Just like the teacher can't condemn the fact that the library had Mein Kampf in the book, right?
Right.
The teacher can't control that Mein Kampf was in the library, right? All they can do is say, she can say going forward to my kid, hey, please don't get books by Nazis, right? Which is exactly what Coke's going to do. But they don't control what's on LinkedIn. There's no way they could possibly restrict their employees to a certain category of things on LinkedIn. They're being very lazy and cheap and saying to their employees, go out and find stuff and study it. Well, so you find shit like this.
So you don't think this has something to do with white guilt? I mean, is this affiliated with white guilt?
Well, I don't know. See, this I don't know. I don't know much about the person who put together the presentation. Okay.
But it's a white guilt agenda, though, the way I see that.
Well, it could be. We don't know who wrote this thing, and we don't know why it's out there, and we don't know who else is studying it. The thing exists, right? Like I said, somebody went to some time and trouble to put this thing together and put it out there. Is this who did it? Is it a black person complaining that they're being asked to be more white and not being because they're not being black enough? I'm sorry, they're being too black.
Too black, yeah.
Which would be spectacularly racist, right? to come up to somebody and saying you're being too black, be less black, be more white? Would that be more spectacularly racist? I think so. You and I were talking about diversity stuff, and a lot of diversity stuff consists of treating people with respect, regardless of whether they talk like you or walk like you or dress like you. There's a lot of white people out there who think black people should just sound like white people.
Yeah.
Black people should just talk like white people. And if you can't, then you're not as smart as white people. Mm-hmm. That's ridiculous. And I
agree on that. I agree with you on that. Okay.
So, and there are. I have had people say to me, "Oh, well, you talk down to me." I'm like, no, that's just the way I talk. I don't mean to talk down to you. If you think I'm talking down to you, I apologize.
Right.
If you think I'm being rude to you, tell me how to talk to you so that I'm not being rude to you. But I've had people complain. I mean, you know me. We work together, right?
Yeah.
I say please and thank you to everybody, right? Mm-hmm. I just if you do something for me, if I ask you to do something for me, I say please.
Yeah.
When you do it for me, I say thank you, right? Mm-hmm. I do that for everybody. I had a person object to that. She thought, because she was white and I was black, she was white and I was black, that she was black and I was white, that was a thing, right? And she was offended by it. And I said, this is ridiculous.
Oh, my God.
Right? She felt like I was talking down to her, which I was, I didn't intend to do that. I do that for everybody. So that's where I think, so whoever wrote this presentation intended to create a reaction. She intended to offend people. Maybe sometimes you say things to shake people up. I know you do that. I've seen you do that.
You're right, I do.
I don't do that so much as I do it to be funny. I try to be funny and do that. But everybody does stuff like that.
I like triggering people.
Right. And again, if you have a certain kind of job, that's how you make more money, right? That's how you get more views. That's how you get more ads. That's how you do this and that. So I really think that's what you're seeing here, is you're seeing somebody put together a presentation to make more money by being provocative, and somebody found it and made more money by objecting to it vociferously.
So she hustling then. She hustling.
Everybody's hustling. I think this is a hustle. I mean, I'm not saying anybody's lying. Okay, don't get me wrong. Right. I'm not saying anybody's lying, and I'm not saying but I'm saying that this is bullshit. You know it, I know it. No matter everybody who's paying attention to this issue, to an actual issue, anybody who actually has an issue here knows that this is bullshit. And the reason why Coke hasn't gone up in arms, well, two reasons, right? One is Coke doesn't want to pour any more gasoline on the fire, right? There aren't a lot of people who have serious objections to this, right? Because really all Coke has to do is say, don't waste our money watching stupid stuff, right? I mean, let's face it. These guys could have accessed Pornhub. They could have, and then Coke's sitting there going, well, we spent money on showing people Pornhub. Well, they did. What are they going to do about that? I don't know. It's your house. So that's where I think we are on this. I think if you got a beef, with the fact that Coke tried to do diversity training on the cheap.
Yeah. And
I think we can talk about how you should do diversity training. If you're going to do diversity training, how you should do it. I think that's the better conversation.
Yeah, but it kind of reminds me a little bit of it's people I know that work at their job and stuff, and they have gender trainings that you got to say there, them, and they. You can't say him or she or her. Well,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you got to show me the stuff, the materials,
pronouns.
But I mean, this is where we're talking about like. I kind of divide this stuff into don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
Try not to be an asshole, and for Christ's sakes. Okay. So let me give you an example. So when you're dealing with a person, right? This guy over here, this person over here, right? And you say, I don't know how you speak, but what you say, hey, that person, the person's name is Jamie. Nice, non-gendered name, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I told Jamie to put her coat in the coat room, right?
Yeah, her.
And Jamie hears you and turns around and goes, no, actually, please use they and them when you're talking to me. Well, look, here's the thing. I will call you the Prince of fucking Persia if you want me to. I will call you Maurice the First, King of State Street if you want me to, because I got to deal with you, right?
Yeah.
And then I can make fun of you behind your back, right?
Right.
That's how we deal with people, right?
Yeah, that's how we deal with it. Right.
That's how in a society where people are different and people are strange, you talk to people, you call people what they want to be called, and then you say, well, that's that person, right? You call people what they want to be called because it's rude not to. And if you have a problem with that, fuck you, you're an asshole, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you've got to get in the face of one of your coworkers or a friend or your friend's boyfriend and be rude to them because they want to go by they, them, well, I really got nothing to say to you because you're being rude to a person.
Right.
And then there's sort of the try not to be an asshole, right? Which is, let's say, for example, you're talking about understanding that there will be people that you will deal with who like to use they, them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So is it fair? So somebody walks into our store, right? Is it fair for me to assume that they're a man or a woman? Yeah, right? Most people are either men or women.
If you got a beard,
it's fair for you or I to look at somebody with a beard and say, sir, right?
Yeah.
Perfectly fine. Or to say, can I help you with those bags, sir? Right? But guy says to me, I don't use male pronouns. I use they, them, right? At that point, now I'm dealing with a person, right? And when I'm dealing with a person, I have to go back to, I'm not going to be an asshole, right? So try not to be an asshole is just be aware that there are people who might use different pronouns, right? There might be people who have an issue with how you're talking to them. There might be people who might, whatever, right? They might be gay. They might be different. They're just different, right? And then you got to try not to be a jerk, right? And when you realize you've been a jerk, you back off, you reset, and you go back. And then there's the people where I'm like, oh, for Christ's sake, right? Because when you walk up to them and you say, you use a he, him, or a she, he, she, or a they, them, and they go, no, I want to be called Zer. And you're a bigot for not using Zer right away.
Hey, hold on, give me a second, Evan. Somebody time Trump the Bob out, man. Don't use some F-bombs on here. You get my channel flag.
Sure.
Somebody time him out for that. Do not use them F-bombs in my chat room, okay?
That's fine.
I'll tell you that.
That's fine.
Right,
so I'll do better. So
no, I ain't talking about you. I'm talking about the chat room.
Oh, you're talking to the chat?
No,
okay.
The chat room in there. Someone in the chat room used the F-bomb, and I don't like. And I said, don't use that in my chat room.
Well, screw them. But that's the thing. The thing I have is, there's a moment where, like, I agree with people who are like, you can't walk around thinking somebody might be offended. Okay. And there's a level. I mean, you don't have a right not to be offended, right? I think everybody all across the political spectrum will accept that people don't have a right not to be offended. But you also don't have a right to walk around. Well, you do have a right to. You just if you walk around and you're an asshole, people have a right to tell you that.
Yeah.
Right? And people have a right, and you and I work in a business where we will get in trouble if we do that. Right? We can't talk to customers that way. So And so the reason why this comes into play when you're talking about an employer is I can't look. My grandmother was spectacularly racist, just tremendously racist. I could not tell my 80-year-old grandmother to straighten up and fly right. Right? You can't tell your nana what to do.
No, you can't.
You can't. So, but can my boss tell me what to do? Yeah. So let's try and get along better with each other. And sometimes a company has to step in and say, you're treating people badly and it's costing us money. So straighten up and fly right. Hey, Citizens United, I like you. Thank you.
Yeah, she like it. And look, and she's conservative. She like it. See? Yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing about conservatives and liberals is is the ones who are honest. We're trying to solve the same problems. We're just trying to do it in different ways.
Right.
I've heard, when I started paying attention to politics, it was Ronald Reagan, right?
Okay.
And he was talking about balancing the budget and cutting spending and maybe spending more on defense so the commies didn't come over and nuke us.
Mm-hmm.
These are not bad ideas, right? There's a lot of, if the Canadians come over the border, we need a strong defense. I'm on board with that, right? We build an aircraft carrier. That's a $1 billion asset that's being built in the United States. That's good for the economy. I'm in favor of all that crap. I studied military history professionally for years. You think I'm not pro-military?
Right.
But there's a point at which we're not talking about the same problems. We're creating problems.
Right, exactly.
Because of our ideology. And that's where I stopped listening to people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like conservatives. The problem is a good chunk of the conservative movement has been hijacked by right-wing people who don't care about conservatism anymore.
Uh-oh.
They care about.
Oh, we could get into that.
They care about something else. They care about something else.
All right. You ain't ready to get into that yet, right, Ev?
No, it's just that's where you and I differ. That's the only area where we differ.
Yeah, that's the only one.
As 90% of the time, when we start talking about the same issues, we're not that far apart. And as Americans, this is the thing about Americans. This is the thing that a lot of Americans don't realize is if you go to, say, Europe, right, and you look at their politics are way farther apart than ours are. Like most American politicians are way closer to each other than any other government on the planet, except for like North Korea and Albania and, various other dictatorships, right? But if you've got a viable government that represents people, Americans are a lot closer together than we think. When we talk about real issues, when we start talking about bullshit issues, now we can't talk to each other. I spend most of my time addressing right-wing bullshit issues because the people I talk to don't bring up left-wing bullshit issues because we know they're bullshit. So why talk about them? The people we talk to, the people who come at us are coming at us with right-wing bullshit issues. The left-wing bullshit issue people, they're off there smoking dope, and talking about how they're gonna, how they're gonna revolutionize the economy by giving all the factories back to the workers.
Yeah.
Yeah, those actually are the communists. I don't talk to those people either.
The commies. So you
it doesn't work. It wouldn't work.
You don't fuck with it. No, you can say the F, but I was talking about the FAG word to one of these.
That word. No,
I don't want
No, that's on a short list of words I just flat out won't use.
We can say fuck over here. I just don't want that FA word. FAG.
No, you can't say that.
Yeah, because YouTube will ban me for that. So
that also comes straight. I mean, that is clearly. Remember how I divided those into categories? That is an asshole. You are an asshole. I mean, really, there's nothing. We got nothing left to talk about, right? I got nothing. If you think that's an appropriate word to use in public, I don't have anything to talk about, unless you're a gay guy talking to another gay guy.
Yeah.
But that's not me. You're not talking to me then. You're talking to somebody else. I am the most boring. Yeah, I'm a straight white guy. I'm just boring. I tried to be more interesting. I ain't.
You are saltine American.
What?
Saltine American.
I'm a saltine American. Yeah. I mean, that's what I was getting at. Is like, if there's a white privilege, I have it. I'm a straight, white, college-educated male.
So you think you got white privilege?
I definitely have white privilege.
So explain how you have white privilege. I want to hear this.
Oh, okay. So look at who runs companies, right? Who runs companies? Who runs businesses? Who gets elected to Congress? Who makes hiring decisions? Who's on TV? Who are most movies about? Who are most TV shows about? They look like me. They're people like me, right? I have my kid is white. She has advantages. A white man in this country is what this country ends up looking like.
So you got an advantage.
I have a huge advantage.
So
I have a huge advantage.
Okay. If you get caught drinking and driving, so you got an advantage. You're not going to get a DUI.
Well, no, it's not. It's not if I get caught drinking and driving. See, this is the thing. The difference between white privilege. See, this is where a lot of people get it wrong. It's not like a big thing. It's a wedge. It's a little bit of a wedge. It's a little bit of an edge. It's a little bit. So let me give you this is what I'm talking about. So I think we can all agree that we get along better with people who look like us, who talk like us, who have the same kind of background, right? Just everybody's like that. Human beings are social animals, and we all have little tribes, and we all get along in our little tribes, right? But that's not how society is. Society is a bunch of, we all have to deal with each other, right? It's all a big melting pot, and we all have to deal with each other. But so think about it. If I'm the guy who's doing the hiring, right? It's really easy for me to go and look at another guy who looks like me and say, that's a better guy. I understand that guy. That guy is talking about things I understand. He's talking about things I like. We share the same hobbies, right? We know some of the same people. But then over here's a guy from a few blocks away, and his skin is darker than mine, and he eats curry, and he likes cricket, and he could give a shit about the Packers, right? Which guy am I more likely to hire, right? Well, if I'm not paying attention, it's really easy to hire the white guy. And that's not racist. That's not really racist. That's just human nature, right? But when you look at who runs companies, and they all look like Evan the squirrel, right? Who are they hiring? More guys who look like Evan the squirrel, right? If I'm driving down the road and I make a mistake, right? Now, there are neighborhoods where if I make a mistake, the cops are going to assume I'm there to buy cocaine, and they're going to have a problem with me, right? But most roads in the city of Milwaukee, if I'm driving down and I make a mistake, nobody's searching my car.
So they're not going to search your car. I mean,
people aren't going to search my car. Cops aren't going to search my car. If I'm quiet and polite and speak to a cop in a way that they can understand, that they appreciate, I'm going to get a warning. And it's happened. It's happened to me.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean that they're going to arrest you and hit you with a nightstick? No. Okay. People seem to see this issue as like, I get a good paying job all the time, and you live in a cardboard box in the inner city. That's not how it works. That's not what white privilege is. White privilege is just, I got a little bit of an edge. And I got a little bit of an edge, and I don't have to watch my back, right? I don't have to I have a male privilege, right? You and I have a male privilege.
Evan,
if we hear footsteps behind us in a parking garage, we're not going to get raped, right? We know that. That's a little bit of privilege, okay? That's a little bit of privilege. You know, if somebody punches us in the face and takes our wallet, nobody's going to question what you were wearing. This doesn't happen.
Wow. There's something new I learn every day. So you can get away with shit whatever you at.
Not everywhere, not wherever,
but
not
wherever,
and not anything I want. Not anything I want. But, you know, I mean, here's the thing. Look at, you know, I mean, does it matter what color you are when you're caught with a gram of cocaine? Does that matter?
To a certain extent.
To a certain extent, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? To a certain extent, yeah.
That's what white privilege is. White privilege is if you're a white defendant with a cocaine, you got a real good shot at being sent to rehab, right? If you're a black defendant with a cocaine, you stand a real good chance of going to prison. Is it one way or the other all the time? No. That's why it's privilege and not something else, right? That's why it's a little bit of an edge.
No. What I'm saying is, like, me being from the hood, and I had some white friends that come to the hood with me, and then they won't stop me. They will stop my white friends because they try to buy drugs because they don't see white people too much in the hood unless they're trying to buy some drugs or you know. I mean, let's be honest. A lot of the heroin addicts you see are white. Yeah. Go to the hood, you know.
Yeah, heroin
harass a lot more because they knew that they was going to buy it. So white privilege right there.
No, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
This is where I said, you know, we're going to spend a lot of this show agreeing with each other.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, but the thing is yeah, but what I'm saying is that that's the reverse of that is what I'm talking about. So if I like, there are places in this city where if I walk in, so heroin is primarily a white problem. OxyContin is a huge white problem, right? That's. I mean, look at where the huge devastation is.
And meth is a white problem.
It's like rural. It's like rural white people country, right? That's where those communities have been devastated by OxyContin.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, there are neighborhoods in this city where a white guy coming in at a particular kind of time of night in a particular kind of car, yeah, you might as well be wearing a sign. Right? I agree with you. The problem is that the entire neighborhood of Whitefish Bay is like that for you.
Yeah, we call it white folks.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's the difference between white privilege and if there's any kind of black privilege. There isn't. There really isn't because your edges aren't that good.
Okay.
But you know, I mean, I don't know. You know, I could say a bunch of stuff, but it's all racist anyway. So, I mean, depends on what level of racism you want to, you know, because positive stereotypes are still racist, right? Asians are good at math. Black men have, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you could, you know, Jews are good with money.
There's truth in every stereotype because from the history I know, black people ain't never on time for none. The white people are always on time. We call it CPT and WPT. You know,
could be. I mean, here's the thing. Remember what I said? You know, people are tribal, right?
Yeah.
if a certain kind of behavior is acceptable in a certain kind of community, that's how people are. You know, like my mom grew up Italian. She raised me Italian in a lot of ways, right? If you come to my house and don't eat something, I get pissed off. I will get mad at you if you come to my house and
I get mad too. Shit, I cook.
Yeah, that's like something that's true. I think in the black community and in the Italian community, we get pissed. I mean, and I'm not talking about like, I'm not talking about oh come on. No, I'm talking about like I was mad the first time that happened. I was eating. I had made spaghetti.
Right.
And I was eating with my girlfriend. Some guys came on. We were going to go out to a bar. Like there was absolutely no reason why they would come to my house to eat, right? None. But I was eating and they were in my house and I had cooked food. They were going to eat. And and they didn't. And I was mad. I was just like, what do you mean? You don't like my food? What? I cooked. I didn't cook for them. Keep in mind, I didn't cook for them. I had no idea they were coming over. I was just being petty, you know? But it was like, cut me, I bleed olive oil. You know, that's stuff like that. Stuff like, you know, little cultural stuff like that that's still there. That's true. That's absolutely true. I mean, I wouldn't say it because I think it's racist for me to say it, but you can say it.
No. Look, bring some white people in my house. They never had collard greens. A lot of them never had collard greens. I feel it's like, no, man, this is black people food. Our food is good, man. We eat dressing. Y'all eat stuffing, man. Come on, man. Be open minded. And some of them, look, I had some plates for them, and they wouldn't want to touch the hog mog and all that, and you know, but they'll touch the little greens and shit, the sweet potato pie, you know. But I mean, we're not used to certain shit. So maybe that's why people, you know, me, I'm different. I'm not picky. I go to white people crib. I have stuff and I eat everything. I'll
try anything. I'll try everything.
Right. That's how we get down.
I won't eat everything. I'll try everything though.
Yeah, I'll try it. Don't knock it till you try it. Shit.
But you know, I mean, my favorite was I found out a couple of years ago that that for a long time, traditionally, if you were Chinese or Asian, right, you wore a piece of jade around your neck.
Okay.
Because there was a belief, there was a superstition that there was a spirit in the jade. And if you fell, the jade would protect you by breaking, right? And I'd heard this and I was like, no, that's not really true. That's just a thing that they do in China. That's not a thing. And then I met a couple of Hmong people, right? And I looked and they were wearing jade, right? And like, I've got a few Asian friends that I play trivia with. And guess what? They're both Chinese. They're both Chinese immigrants. And guess what? They're wearing jade all the time. They have a piece of jade around their neck. And it's just an Asian thing. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, we need to appreciate that people are different than us.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be boring, though? Wouldn't it be boring?
Yeah, I think it is boring. And I think, you know, you can, if you say, you know, the problem I have with people who, first off, a white guilt is just ridiculous to me. We talked about this.
Do you think that's liberal bullshit? I don't know. I think that's some liberal shit.
I think telling me that I need to take some kind of responsibility for something that happened hundreds of years before I was born is ridiculous. I don't need to take responsibility for that.
No.
What I do need to do, and this is where I get very angry with some very stupid people.
Come on, Al.
Well, it's just you have to acknowledge that slavery had a huge impact on the founding of this country. You have to acknowledge that the South, but also a good chunk of the North, because we sold the South shit, was built on the backs of enslaved Africans. That's reality. That's the truth.
All right.
Highways were built in this country based on racial decisions. Loans for houses were made based on racist decisions. A tremendous amount of the infrastructure in this country was based on racist decisions and the enslavement of people because they look different. Those are historical facts. You can just look that up.
Yeah.
So to fail to acknowledge that,
I acknowledge that.
Yeah. But you know, if white people don't acknowledge that, that is ludicrous. That isn't white guilt. That's acknowledging history. Now,
I know, but
guilt to me is something I did that's my fault, right?
Yeah.
So I said some things a couple of weeks ago that I'm pretty embarrassed that I said. Two people know that I said them.
You said,
and I'm embarrassed that that's not just one.
You said it. Can't take it back. Whatever you said.
Yeah, and I feel bad about it. So do I feel guilty about saying that? Yeah, I feel guilty about saying that. Do I feel guilty that my ancestors were involved in an economy that was built on, that had as a major component of it slavery? And by the way, that's like one ancestor, like my my grandparents on my mother's side are first generation immigrants, and my grandparents on my father's side, one of them is an immigrant. So we're talking about like one guy who may have been a horse thief, by the way. I'll tell you that story in a few minutes.
Oh, yeah. I want to hear that shit.
Yeah. But, you know, there was a guy in my family who was living in the United States. He's the guy who gave me my last name. Like, that's where my last name comes from. Yeah, he was living in the United States before the revolution. So that economy was built on slavery. So did I benefit from that? Yeah, I benefited from it. Is that my fault? No. Any more than the fact that Sicily is Sicily is not a, well, even any more than the fact that there's mafia in Sicily. That's not my fault.
Okay.
Did I benefit from that? Yes, I benefited from that too. The story about my family is I have a crazy uncle who decided to trace our family back, and this was in the late 80s, before there was anything like 23andMe or any of that stuff, right? You had to do everything with paper, and he traveled all over the United States. They traced my whole family back to a guy who got off a boat, right? And the funny part is that there's no record of him getting on the boat. So the boat starts out in England, crosses the Atlantic, and this guy gets off it, even though there's no record of him getting on it. So we like to think he stole a horse or something, or killed a man, stole the church silver.
Hey, hold on. Hey, thank you, everybody, for your donations. Patriot Brother, Smurf, and Newstime Broadcast. I appreciate your donations. I appreciate the support to the channel. All right, go ahead.
I get a kickback on that, right?
Hey, you know, last time I gave you a little something on it.
Black man always working for the white man.
Hey, dude, I want to get into some stuff, man. I would look.
Sure.
We
got about 16 minutes that you wanted me to set aside. So
yeah, I want to talk about the Aunt Jemima shit, and I think it's bullshit. The Harriet Tubman, the $20 bill. There's some shit that I can.
Well, okay. Well, let's okay. So I can dismiss the Aunt Jemima Uncle Ben thing real fast.
Okay.
I mean, if you want.
All right.
I mean, the thing you got to understand. So the thing you got to understand is that for some insane reason in the South, you could talk to an older African American person to whom you were not related and to whom you did not know, right, as auntie or uncle. They would do that. Instead of calling you, Mr. Jones, they would call you, hey, Uncle Bob.
Yeah, right.
Even though you were older and more important, it was a way of belittling you. It was a way of disrespecting you. It was a way of letting you know that you were a less person than the white guy talking to you.
Calling someone aunt, uncle?
Aunt and uncle, yeah. Auntie and uncle.
But we got uncles, so we are belittling our uncles and aunts?
No. It's just we're talking about a white person talking to an African American they don't know.
Okay.
Oh
yeah, okay. They don't know.
It's like how you can't call somebody boy? That's another way of doing it, right? And some white people thought that was okay, right? And that's where Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben come from. Okay, that's where they come from. And so there's a significant number of people in this country who feel that is incredibly racist because that's how they were taught. That's how their parents were talked to.
But I don't understand why don't you got the white I'm gonna say white liberals. You got the white liberals, they come and stand up like, oh, this is wrong. Why it wasn't really the black people complaining?
Well, yeah, it must have been some black people complaining because
I haven't heard it.
Well, because see, here's the thing: is that first up, white people just don't get these ideas, dude. The whole auntie uncle thing is not something white people know about. right? It's not a big thing it's certainly not northern white people. It's a southern thing. It is 100% a southern thing. It's also, by the way, a South African racist thing.
I agree with you on that. A southern thing on that part.
But it's 100% a southern thing. It's again, it's like calling somebody boy or girl, right? Yeah. And there are contexts in which you can say, oh, girl, and it's fine, right? And there's contexts where you can say, yeah, boy, and that's fine. But we're talking about a very specific kind of relationship in a very specific context. And yeah, it's pretty racist. So there were people who are objecting. You know, it's like the Mississippi flag, right? Who's really objecting to that? Fucking black people in Mississippi. That's who's objecting to it. Yeah, white people are getting on board going, yeah. And it's kind of a sad thing in this country that stuff really changes when the white people think it matters. That's when stuff really, really starts to change.
So white people can't have no ideals now. It's got to be just.
Oh, sure. Look at
Coke. Look at Coke. Look what Coke just said. They proved that they don't.
No, remember that's not Coke.
Oh, okay,
that's not Coke. That's Coke being stupid.
Okay, Coke being stupid.
I don't like Coke. I drink Pepsi.
Yeah, so I see you drink.
I don't have a dog in that fight.
The caffeine free. I see that gray can you be drinking.
No, it's not caffeine free. It's got chock full of caffeine. It's not got no sugar. It's got no sugar. It's
okay. I got you. No sugar.
That's how I maintain my walrus-like physique.
Hey, I drink Diet Dr. Pepper, so.
Yeah. No, I mean, you know what white people need to value is important stuff. Is freaking important stuff. Being white's not special. If we think that being white is what's important, look, white people are gonna be in a minority in this country. They may almost be a minority now.
I've talked about this for the last couple of years. You know, I mean, I know you don't want to hear this, but I talked about this with a bunch of conservatives. We talked about this.
Well, you know, the thing of that white people might be in the minority is only a problem if you think that being white is important. Yeah. If you being okay to be white is somehow better. A country where white people are in the majority is somehow better. That's bullshit. You know that. Everybody knows that's bullshit, except for some stupid, thin-skinned white people.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if it look the stuff that I think and I believe matters, and the stuff that my family and the people I know and respect think matters are things like fairness. Right. Things like getting money to poor people who need it. Things like making sure that that maybe my daughter grows up on a better planet than I did. You know, I'd like my kid to know what a polar bear looks like. You know, I'd like my kid to be able to see a white rhino. I'd like my kid to be able to see maybe the city of Miami before the water rises above it. These are all things that freaking matter, right? That matters. The idea that somehow the Confederate flag matters is a bunch of bullshit. It's also not the right flag. We can talk about someday. We'll talk about why this whole Confederate flag thing is utter fucking bullshit. But I do want to mention this just because I saw
mention it, bro.
Because I will like I said, my background's in history, specifically military history, but military history covers a lot of ground. So I know a lot about a lot of history. And one of the things that really makes me angry about this whole Confederate flag heritage hate thing is that the people who have those flags almost always have the wrong damn flag. Okay. And I happen to see a picture of one of these people who was protesting in front of the Michigan Capitol, right? And there were two of these people, and I happen to think that they're politically jackasses, right? I happen to dislike almost everything about these guys. Almost everything about these guys. This guy and I probably could talk to each other for about 3 minutes before one of us punched the other. But he had the right flag. And I was like, okay, props. Okay, fine. You want to spend all your time defending 4 years of American history, fine. But you got the right flag. So that's fine then. You know, the guy next to him had the wrong flag. So fuck him. But the first guy, okay, I'm like, that is history. You are now talking about history. You want to talk about history? Get the right flag. Then we'll talk. But if you don't, you got to know your history. If you don't know your history, I got no time for you. You're pretending to know history, and then you're putting racist packaging on it. I'm sorry. That's not true. I said that wrong. You are putting historical packaging on your racism. And I can prove it. Know your history. If you know your history, then we can talk.
They're trying to erase it. Look, we're trying to know our history. People trying to know the history, but they're trying to erase history by tearing statues down. You can't.
No, they're not. They're not. They're not.
Tear the statues down.
When did those statues go up?
Okay, when did they go up?
They went up in the 20s and they went up in the 60s.
It's still the history.
Do you know why they went up? Do you know why they went up?
Why?
To tell black people we're still in charge.
No.
100%. The most of those statues are put up by an organization called the United Daughters of the Confederacy. The United Daughters of the Confederacy were entirely about keeping black people away from white women. That is 100% what they were talking about. The people who were most vociferously opposed to the putting up of Confederate monuments. You want to guess who that was?
Who?
Former Union soldiers. They were fucking irate when the Daughters of the Confederacy tried to put a monument on Gettysburg. They were furious. And that was 1880. So the thing is that those statues are of modern vintage. They're not historical. They're of modern vintage. And they were put up as a response to the civil rights movement. They were the second Ku Klux Klan, not the first one, and the third. So this again, you want to talk about erasing history, and I think you can make an argument that people are trying to. Don't get me wrong. But you have to talk about the actual history. So, for example, I mean, history is history, man. It's warts and all. It's what happened. It's what happened and why it happened. It's not just the stuff we like. Because if you talk about just the stuff you like, you leave out a ton of people. Right? And, we got to look at who Andrew Jackson was. You're talking about Harriet Tubman on the 20? Let's look at who Andrew Jackson was, right? Now, first off, Andrew Jackson was a badass. I think we can all agree that Andrew Jackson was a badass. Andrew Jackson once let a guy shoot him in the chest and then shot him in the face. Okay? Andrew Jackson once, and I think, I'm not 100% on this guy, but I'm pretty sure that duel was fought because
we're going to get into that in a minute, okay? We're going to get
anyway, he fought numerous duels. He won battles for the United States.
But I'm going to rant in about 1 minute, okay? Go
ahead. Do what you need to do.
No, 1 minute. I'm going to let you talk. I got to go run somewhere in about 1 minute.
No, you got to do something. So
pay a water bill.
I'm just saying that, is Andrew Jackson our best guy to be on the money? Well, one of the problems is he hated the Bank of the United States. So why is he on the money? He's spinning in his grave when they did that. So I think Harriet Tubman's an American hero. Put her on, if you want to put her on the money, that's fine. I don't have a dog in that fight. I think Andrew Jackson was a badass. I think he was very, very much a product of his time and not the nicest guy in the world. I think Harriet Tubman's a much better person, but nobody asked me. I mean, if I had my druthers, Lincoln would be on the 20 because it circulates more than the 5. But nobody asked me.
All right, Ev. I'm back, Ev. What's up, brother? Sure. Hold on.
I'm just going off. I mean, I'm a big fan.
Look, my chat room is making some noise up in here. Like, oh, shit. You are triggering my chat room right now. I love it. Go ahead.
Well, the thing is bring me some facts, bring me some arguments, bring me something other than Fox News talking points.
Okay.
This is the thing I get so tired of. It's like, give me a fact, right? And if I refute your fact, right, if I explain why your fact is wrong, then your fact is wrong. Okay, it doesn't. It's not an ideological thing. It's just these are the facts.
People are like triggered. Like, I'm out of here. I can't. I gotta go by. This is a different opinion. So yeah, bye.
Well, I mean, it's just check. If you want to say to me, like, if you like, one of the things is, so there's a mountain in Georgia, Stone Mountain, Georgia, right? And some guy got the idea that they're going to carve giant figures of the Confederacy into this mountain. It's like Mount Rushmore, but it's their whole bodies and like bigger.
Okay.
Right. Now, I don't think he got permission from anybody to do this, to start it. But, Georgia's been behind it ever since. So big old Confederate people carved in the mountain, right? So Robert E. Lee is on the mountain. That makes sense, right? Robert E. Lee. Everybody likes Robert E. Lee, right? Not a lot. I don't, but a lot of people do. So that's fine. Robert E. Lee is like the old South, right? You can say he didn't fight for slavery. He did, but you can say he didn't. He was a mannerly guy. Everybody liked Robert E. Lee, right? And then they put Stonewall Jackson on it. Okay, Stonewall Jackson's a military genius. He got killed during the war. Yeah, he's a crazy guy, but, nobody really knows where he was on slavery, although he was he had slaves and he treated them badly, because how do you treat a slave well? Whatever, right? So Stonewall Jackson, Robert E. Lee, right? So there's a third guy on the mountain. Who do you think the third guy is?
Hold on, my bad.
So there's three guys on the mountain, right?
Okay.
Robert E. Lee. Everybody likes Robert E. Lee. Stonewall Jackson. He's a military genius. Okay. So that's history, right?
That's history, yeah.
Right. That's history. You can talk about that. That's military history of the United States, right? Who's the third guy?
Who's the third guy?
Who do you think the third guy is?
You bring the third guy.
The third guy is Jefferson Davis.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Jefferson Davis did not fight in the war. He didn't organize the war. He didn't have any kind of courage at all physically, right? He's not he was in the military. He had been Secretary of the War, I think the Buchanan administration. But he was not a soldier at the time of the Civil War. Why is he on the fucking mountain? Well, he's on the fucking mountain because the Confederacy was about slavery. And Jefferson Davis was 100% about slavery. That's why he's on the mountain, is because it's about slavery. Not heritage, not history, slavery. Now, if you want to put James Longstreet on that mountain, I would be. You could almost convince me that it was history.
Okay.
But why is Jefferson Davis on that mountain? And if you can make an argument for me as to why Jefferson Davis should be on that mountain and not James Longstreet, I will buy you a jelly pastry.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, I studied the Civil War in the state of Alabama for 2 years. So don't tell me. I know the Southern take on the Civil War.
I don't think you have the full history on the Confederacy. Okay,
Maurice, I just told you I studied the Civil War at the University of Alabama for 2 years. If there is one person who does not have an actual degree in Civil War, look, trust me, I will guarantee you I know about the Civil War. I will guarantee you.
You think the Confederate flag started off as we hate black people? You think it's
no? God no.
They make the flag. No. It started off actually with the blood of Jesus Christ. It did not start off at that. And people misuse flags. They misuse things.
Yeah. No. I mean, like I said. So, all right. So the Confederate flag, the Confederate, the nation of the Confederacy, the Confederate States of America.
First I have one right here. I own one.
No, you don't. See, that's what I'm talking about. No, you don't. Here's what you have. Okay, so no. See, this is something I know about like you wouldn't believe. So, first off, if you look at all the documents from the states that seceded, and you look at Article 4 of the Confederate Constitution, It's all about slavery. It's all about the preservation of slavery. Article 4 of the Confederate Constitution might as well just read, fuck you, we're bigots. Okay? And that's just the way it is. So that nation had 3 national flags. Okay? The first flag has a blue field, like the current American flag, a circle of 11 white stars, a large red stripe, a large white stripe, and then a large red stripe. That's the stars and bars. That's why it's called that. It has a circle of stars and then 3 big bars. They changed that. You want to know why they changed it? They changed it because if there's no wind blowing, it looks just like a Union flag.
Damn.
Right? It's hard to see from a distance. So they changed it. They changed it to a square flag, like you got there is rectangular. They got a square flag, and the rest of the flag was white. Okay, it's called the stainless banner. It was in play from 1861 until 1863. Maybe 1864. I'm not 100% on that. The stainless banner is actually the flag that was draped over Stonewall Jackson's coffin.
Okay.
When I worked at a fort on the Gulf of Mexico, that was the flag we flew over the fort. Okay. They changed that flag late in the war to add a red bar at the end of the flag. Do you know why they did that?
Oh.
Because when there's no wind blowing, the stainless banner looks like a flag of surrender. And they had a lot of problems with, they'd go marching down the field and the Union would go, oh, you're surrendering. And then they'd shoot them. And that would be a problem. Okay? So the flag you got, why do we think that the flag you have is the Confederate flag? Why do we think that? Because it's not. Right?
You are totally like we talking about this, right? You said a Confederate flag.
That's not the Confederate flag any more than the flag of the state of Wisconsin is the United States flag.
But how can the Confederate flag affect America right now? How can that flag affect?
Oh, because I'm getting there. Okay,
get there.
So why do people think that the flag you have there is the Confederate flag? Okay, because I've just demonstrated to you it's not. So why do we think it is? Well, here's the thing. Armies in the 19th centuries, an organization called an army in the 19th century had a distinctive flag. Lots of them had distinctive flags. The Army of Northern Virginia, for example, which was under the command of Robert E. Lee, has a square version of that flag, right? It's a square flag with a white border. If you think of the car, the General Lee, it's the flag that's on the roof of the car.
So that's why they banned the Dukes of Hazzard, right? Because of that shit.
No, they banned Dukes of Hazzard because it's a terrible show, except for
come on,
no, except for Barbara Bach, who has the butt of a goddess. Okay, yeah, I'm old enough to remember Barbara Bach and her Daisy Dukes. So anyway, so that's the little square flag, and you'll see some reenactors carrying that, and you'll see some white guys talking about Southern heritage carrying that, and that's okay. Okay, that's an army flag. That's fine. I don't think it's appropriate, but it's fine. It's fine. By the way, it doesn't really fucking matter what I think about which flag, which flag should go over which capital or which flag should be displayed in which southern state, because I live in Wisconsin and we don't have Confederate flags all over the place because we went down there, we kicked their ass, we're done now.
Okay, Evan.
So, but hold on. Let me finish my little rant here because this makes me mad.
Go ahead, well, let me talk.
Because this is my degree in history makes me mad about this.
You're right. Talk your degree of history.
So what happened was, so the flag you have was the battle flag of the Army of Tennessee. It was also the flag flown on Confederate Navy ships, but who gives a fuck about the Confederate Navy? Nobody does because it doesn't exist anymore, and mostly it got sunk. So we don't care about that. You could make the argument that that's what it is. I mean, that's what it looked like, but you know. So, but that was the Army of Tennessee. Okay. Now, the Army of the Tennessee had a very good general associated with it named Nathan Bedford Forrest. Nathan Bedford Forrest came home from the war as a hero, despite the fact that he committed a couple of war crimes along the way, mainly shooting African-American soldiers because he thought they were, black people carrying guns, and all black people carrying guns should be shot. I mean, what do you want? He was born in 1820 or something. So Nathan Bedford Forrest went home with his battle flag of the Army of Tennessee, and he showed it around. Guess what Nathan Bedford Forrest did in the 1870s? He founded the Ku Klux Klan.
Okay.
And he made that the flag of the Ku Klux Klan. Why?
Because that was where he made the flag of the Ku Klux Klan.
He did. That's what he did. He said,
he did. But could you penalize all the other Confederate people for that?
No, but what I'm saying is the reason why we think it's the Confederate flag is because the Ku Klux Klan told us it was the Confederate flag. And once people started to think that it's the Confederate flag, they started using it. And they used it because, look, I lived in Alabama. Do you think people from Alabama are proud to be from Alabama? You bet your ass.
I'll probably from Chicago.
Southerners love to talk about Southerners, right? Look, we're Midwesterners, dude. We don't talk about being Midwesterners. We talk about being from Chicago or Milwaukee or maybe Wisconsin. Alabamians talk about being from the South. It's a thing. Like, nobody wants to be from Mississippi. They want to be from the South. Mississippi sucks. I've been to Mississippi. And I can't get out of that state fast enough. But so the thing is that people who think that they're talking about Southern heritage and walking around with that flag, no. What is a very reasonable and understandable desire to tap into your Southern heritage has been circumvented. No, you're just wrong. Okay, I'm sorry, lady in the chat. You're just wrong. That's not the rebel flag any more than it's anything else. And I'm not trying to turn blacks against whites. I'm just telling you, if you want to walk around and say this is about Southern heritage, get your history right. And I'm not making this up. You can look it up. It's all on fucking Wikipedia. It's all out there. These are all, any Civil War historian will tell you this. This is not hard information to find. And the Confederate battle flag, the battle flag of the Army of Tennessee, whatever, it wasn't the KKK's flag. It was the KKK's flag because the founder of the KKK used it that way. That's what it was.
Yeah,
I'm not making this up.
They used it.
You can look this up. I'm not making any of this up. And I'm not, and as a historian, as a guy who studied history, it enrages me to see somebody claim something is historical when it's not, and the information is readily available. Look it up. Honestly, I mean, if I'm wrong, and I'm not, but check me. Go right ahead and check me. Check your facts. If you can find if my facts are wrong, look, I have a lot of faults as a person. Okay, I'm not perfect, and nobody thinks I am. But and people pointed out I'm pretty inflexible. But what I am good at, and I will freely admit I'm good at, is I will admit when I am wrong faster than almost anybody else you'll ever meet. Because I'm wrong a lot.
Research doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah, that's exactly how you find out if something is right. You fucking research it. That is exactly how you find out if something is right. No, you don't get to make up stuff. Fine. You want me to make it up? I can make it up. Because there are people who believe that the South had pterodactyls that fought for them. Sure, fuck it. They had pterodactyls. Look, all right, fine. You want me to make something up? Okay, the Adolf Hitler went back in time to give the KKK that flag, and he had it tattooed on his butt. That's why we never found his body. Fuck it. Of course you got to research it. My God, that's the most stupid statement I think I've ever seen. And I don't even mean, I'm sorry. That is a stupid statement. That's how you check to make sure you're right. You do the research. Sometimes I'll shoot my mouth off without having done the research. That's why I'm wrong a lot. But Jesus Christ, of course it's right if you do the research. Oh, man.
Hey, when I'm saying Evan, I know a lot of Confederate people. I talked to hundreds of Confederate people, man, and they are far from that.
Well, look, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying, again, let me make this clear.
Make it clear, bro.
A bunch of racists took a symbol and used it for racist purposes. And then they've managed to convince a bunch of other people that it's not a racist symbol. Okay? And the people who have a significant issue with the flag you're talking about are not me. They're not a lot. They're not people. They're not you. They're not me. They're not people who live in Wisconsin. They're black people who live in South Carolina. They're black people who live in Mississippi. They're black people who live in Alabama. They have a problem. And guess what? They're entitled to have a problem because they live there. You see, we talk about Southern heritage as if black people don't have Southern heritage. Except for their Southern heritage is being owned by white people.
I know black people that own a Confederate flag.
No, they don't.
Own it.
No, they don't. They own a flag they think is the Confederate flag.
See, you're not.
No, I mean, look, I'm telling you this. This is the historical fact. Look, it's like you said to me, you took me out into your yard and you said, I have a cow here. And I look at that and I go, no, that's a German Shepherd. And you're saying, no, I did the research. What do you mean you did the research? I'm telling you, it's a cow. No, it's a German Shepherd. Look at that. It's a dog. Here's a picture of a German Shepherd standing next to your cow. Here's a picture of a cow. See how one looks like your dog and one looks like a cow? That's what I'm talking about. You want to talk about an actual issue, talk about an actual issue. You want to talk about how my grandpappy fought for the Confederacy and he never owned no slaves? We can talk about that. You want to talk about how my grandpappy fought for the Confederacy and that means the Confederacy wasn't about slavery? No, you don't know what you're talking about. It's just the way it is.
Hey, for my history, my ancestor was never slaves.
Sure. I mean, I'm not saying, look, there were plenty of people who came into this country after 1865. There's a lot of people. You know, there were black people in New Orleans who owned slaves. That was true. There were, in the 1860s, what black people couldn't serve on juries in Ohio. That doesn't mean, just because I can tell you two true things doesn't mean the third thing is also true. Just because one bad thing happened doesn't mean a different bad thing is okay.
Mm-hmm. And I agree with you.
All right, I got to get going. I got a person in my house getting all grumpy because I won't let her watch the TV show she wants to watch.
Okay, bro. Yeah,
I'll be happy to come on. We kind of did a wide-ranging thing, but yeah. I'll be happy to come on.
Anymore, I wish we could have.
If I got to school more people about why the Confederacy was about slavery, I will. There are plenty of professional historians who will just sit there and give you. There are literally fucking books about this. This isn't stuff I'm making up. Now you want to talk to me about other things that the Confederacy was about? Well, we can talk about it, but this one's a slam dunk, man. That one's a slam dunk. And again,
George,
talk to me about the history. One of the things about the Confederacy, this one of the things that's interesting, and we can talk about the Confederacy, is that the Confederacy would have almost certainly collapsed in the first year of the war had it not been for a Jewish guy. There was a Jewish guy in the government at a time in the country where Jewish guys were not generally considered to be trustworthy. So I don't know what you do with that. I'll tell you the story of Robert Smith, who managed to.
I want to hear the story. Go ahead.
Oh, you want to hear the story, Robert Smith? Robert, this is a great story. I love this story. This is a stupid white people story. So for some insane reason, the Southerners before the Civil War really thought that the slaves liked them and were into being slaves and thought that was a fantastic idea. So they had this slave named Robert Smith, and Robert Smith's father was actually white. He owned Robert's mother, and so when he was born, he was treated a little differently, and his mother insisted that he not be treated differently. His mother insisted that he be treated exactly the same as everybody else. And so he went off and worked in a hotel for which he was paid $1 a month, and his master got to keep everything else he was paid. So he was rented, just like you would rent a car or any other piece of property. But he was really smart. He was really, really smart. And he eventually was trained to work on a boat in the harbor, in Charleston Harbor. And it was him and 5 other slaves and 3 white guys. And he was really, really smart. And now remember, so this is Charleston Harbor. Charleston Harbor is being protected from the Union Navy. The Union Navy is outside making sure trying to prevent any ships for the Confederacy from coming in or out. And the Confederates have mined the harbor. They have put explosives all around the harbor to prevent the Union from coming in, but the Union is hanging out there trying to get out. So Robert Smith has decided he's going to steal the boat and escape to the north, right? So he and these other 5 things. Now, these are incredibly stupid white guys. Okay, these are very, very stupid white guys. So first off, they believe him when they think he's not going to steal the boat. Mm-hmm. Okay? They're like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe the guy's shucking and jiving and doing a minstrel show. Whatever the guy's doing, he's got these guys convinced that he's not going to steal the boat. And they have decided that it would be a really shit-kicking good idea if they left the boat every night to go into Charleston to get drunk. So he's like, okay, fine. And then the captain of the boat, the Confederate captain of the boat, the guy in charge of the Confederate Navy, he thinks it's a great idea to have a big old hat that he wears with his uniform, thus ensuring that nobody can see his face, right? So they wait, and then they get all their families, and they hide them on a little boat next to the boat. They wait for the Confederate guys to go into the town to get drunk, and then they take over the boat, and they sail it out. Now, these white guys are so stupid that they've told all the passwords, okay, and all the code and all the map to each other with this guy listening. The guy's standing there while they're having these conversations. So he manages to get all the way out to the Union Navy with the boat.
Okay.
And the 4 guys, because there's always one guy you can't tell anything to, right? So they only took 4 of the crew and all their families. So he's got like 20 people on this boat. And he sails it out to the Union Navy. And they're going to shoot him because it's a boat coming out of the harbor. But he manages to surrender. And he sells the boat to the Union Navy. And he is inducted into the Union Navy. Although and this is one of the weird things. This is, yet another element of the Union is still racist, regardless of what the South was doing. The Union was still racist.
It's still racist.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. 1860s. Yeah. The entire country's racist. So they actually made him a 2nd lieutenant in the South Carolina Volunteers, which was a colored unit. But they paid him as if he was a captain in the U.S. Navy. So he got considerably more money, although he had a lower rank. So, and they paid him and the people on the boat for the cost of the boat. They bought the boat from the guys who stole it. So then he serves with the U.S. Navy, and then they give him the boat back at the end of the war. And he uses the boat to funnel refugees around for the South, because even though people were freed, we never gave them houses, right? So they had nowhere to live. So he was moving them around. And then he moves to Philadelphia, where he opens a hotel using the knowledge that he gained as a hotel slave.
I totally respectfully disagree with you, but go ahead.
He becomes becomes extremely wealthy doing this. And then he moves back to Charleston, South Carolina to, live out the rest of his life. And in one incredibly funny moment, he bought the house that his master had lived in for back taxes.
You said master or masters?
What?
Master?
I'm going to say it the way white people say it, so as not to be racist.
I call it master. Master.
You can say it any way you want.
You can say master. It won't offend me.
But it'll offend me. I like to say.
Yeah, I know, but you don't want to offend nobody. I get it.
But no, I just don't like to say things. There are certain things I don't like to say because I think it's disrespectful. And I speak and talk in a way that makes me happy.
Well, I caught you cracking many times.
Yeah, and I don't mind it. But if I minded it, see, this is the thing, is that if I minded it, you
minded it.
So anyway, so he ends up with the house, and the slaveholder, the slave master, tried to get it back. He sued, saying, I didn't pay the taxes because the Confederacy was a separate country. And the judge went, fuck you. And the black guy got to keep the house. And then he died rich and happy in South Carolina. We like to think that he, flipped off the guy who had owned him many times. But yeah, that's the story about him. Yeah, I love that story. Yeah. All right, I gotta go because I got a thing.
Hey, thank you for coming on here, man.
Look, oh yeah. Yeah.
Back on here anytime we got a discussion and
well, you want me to come on? I'll talk about the My Pillow guy who's gonna lose his company. That's gonna be fun.
And let's do that next week sometime then, bro.
Yeah, we could do that.
Hey,
okay, guys. I'm out of here.
Thank you for coming on, brother.
Yeah.
All right. There we have it. There we have it. I just like to have a conversation with everybody, okay? Even though I was more of a listener tonight. I don't have time to argue with nobody. I really don't. I mean, I really don't. It took away a lot of my energy, but whatever. It is what it is. But I believe in free speech and let him have a voice. Let him speak his mind. And, he spoke it, Yeah, I know some people can't handle shit, but it is what it is. So, what up, chat room? How y'all doing, man? I'm about to end this in about a few more minutes. What's up, Trader Hood? Yeah. Y'all see I'm very patient, right? Y'all see I'm very patient? And I'm grown. You dig? And so, the moral of the story, man, I'm talking about this goddamn Coke shit. We got on into a different level. We got on another level with this Coke shit, man. But this Coke shit, man, is really, I ain't gonna say kind of fucked up, but it's really fucked up. You teach this class how to be black. Like, come on, y'all, man. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. It can offend you, but a lot of white liberals, I'm gonna say white liberals don't know what it is to be black. Shit, I don't know because I don't deal with these. Look, I know, but I'm not just saying. Oh, let's see. I'm gonna get on this. This is another subject, man. I'm not gonna get into this. You dig? So shout out to Facebook. Shout out to Twitter, Periscope. You dig? YouTube. Shout out to YouTube. Shout out to my moderators that have been holding it down. You dig? I know people are like, let me come up. No. I don't have energy to have everybody screaming at each other. Let me deal with it. I talk with them. Because if I'd have brought different people if I'd have made it a panel, come on now. If I would have made a panel, it would have been kind of like, I don't like a double team on my panel. Let me deal with it. Let me talk. Because I know how to have a comment. One thing about me, but Maurice Dell, I know how to have a convo with everybody. Trader Hood the same way. Trader Hood would have a convo with him. Certain people don't have a convo. BMT, certain people can't. I get it. But I can have a convo with him. You dig? I already knew I was going to disagree with him. But I wasn't gonna be all try to corner and be like, I'm triggered by you. No, whatever. He don't trigger me. Shit. Shout out. Just you and me. What's up, y'all? Barb said, the one thing I actually respect about you, Mo, even if you don't disagree, that's what's being said. You are allowed to be said to be heard. I do. And people get upset and be like, I'm out of here. I can't listen to this idiot. Whatever. I don't care. I can't. You know? He may be an idiot in other people's eyes, but whatever. I have conversation with everybody. You know? I like disagreeing. This is my thing. I don't like preaching to the choir. You know, but I'm gonna get back to this. Coca-Cola. What the fuck is wrong with Coca-Cola? But I want everybody to do the research on this, do the math on this, look what's really going on. Look what's really, really good. Talk to me. You dig? So I'm not doing a panel tonight. This is what I wanted to do and have a convo. And thank you, Evan, for coming on here. And he is a Biden supporter. He have Biden pens all over, and you know what? I respect him. That's what he believes. Look, he got his Biden. He can't stand Trump, but look, he actually was respectful enough not to be like that damn Trump. That he really didn't even bad Trump at all on there. So, hey, you know what? That tells that he is willing to have a conversation. That shows you that he is willing to have a convo, no matter how you felt about his opinion over here. I don't care. I like different opinions. You know what? It was fun. We had a talk. Look, I wouldn't argue. Look, trust me. I held in my head like, oh no. This is just an opinion. He didn't throw a fire at me. He didn't call me out my name. He did this. So we had a convo. Remember that, everybody. You can have a convo with everybody. Yes, you can't unite with everybody. I said the other day. I'm not trying to unite with everybody, but I'm trying to have a convo. You know. So look, Trader. I know. I'm a chess player too. No, but it's cool though. It's like, woo, I'm learning. Like, woo, good Lord help me. Good Lord help me. What's up, Facebook? How y'all doing? Thank you, Facebook. To my people on Facebook, share this. You said, man, I have loved to hear from RBR with that guy. RBR with oh my God. But he'll say he'll come back. Maybe I will have a RBR and myself with him and two other people that know how to talk. See, I don't want no screaming. I want people that know how to talk. Is that okay? I want to know if you know how to talk. You dig? Because Maurice Duck, you know how Maurice Duck get down. Yeah, he wasn't wrong. He was like, actually, the guy is a very. I see the people in the chat room, but he's an intelligent guy on certain things, you know. But that was a good one-on-one interview. Shout out. You said drink Pepsi. Oh, what's up, BA? Battery power. You did. Good Lord. So, I guess I'm going to end the stream. Anybody got some closing remarks in the chat room before I end this? Hey, what's going on, Kay? Yeah, BMT and Voodoo would have been, you know. But it was a one-on-one interview, you know what I'm saying? But you know what? The next one, I'll put Voodoo and BMT, and I'll find another respectable liberal in there. And we can have this conversation. RBR, I don't know yet with RBR, man. God damn it. He be doing too goddamn much. That nigga be doing too goddamn much. Okay, they're going to be live in a little bit. Okay. I'm going to pop over there a little bit because I ain't doing no live stream tonight. I'm just chilling like 3 or 4 villains, you dig? So, all right, I'm going, y'all. I'll see y'all motherfuckers later. This is Maurice Delk, and I'm out of here. I'm gonna holler at you fuckers, okay? Hold on. I'll see y'all later, okay? All right, I'm gone. Much love to you. Much love to everybody. Shout out to Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and wherever y'all watch from, okay? Holla back. Next!